Hey everybody, it is 2:45 a.m. and I am gonna brew some amber ale. I'm doing it early because we got a lot of stuff to do today and I kind of wanted to have it wrapped up this morning instead of dragging it out. But it's just a 10-gallon batch and it has 14 pounds of 2-row in it. It has 4 pounds of caramel crystal 60 and 1 pound of Munich malt. I've already done the milling. I did that yesterday. And so right now I've got the water going. I'm going to mash in probably about an hour from now. And it should be a pretty uneventful deal. The only other things that I have to do here after the mash and the sparge is there are centennial hops, and that's basically it, and the US-05 yeast. So it's for a 10-gallon batch, it's 2 ounces of the centennial for 50 minutes, and I believe it's 1 ounce for 5 minutes on the, one ounce for 5 minutes of the centennial, and then it's into the fermenters, and then we're good to go. The Kolsch that I did is in the secondary right now, and I would say I could probably, it's been in there for about a week, and it's probably just about time to bottle. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it and go from there. So anyway, back when we mash in. All right, let's get our, I don't know, almost 19 something pounds of grain in. Again, when you're mashing, you don't want to put too much in at a time because you'll get dough balls. So, slow and steady, slow and steady. Sorry about, this is about as good as I can do with the camera at this point. I was gonna put it up above on the hot water tank. Once I felt how hot it was like, that's a good way to melt a phone case. So anyway, nice and slow, no dough balls, and then we're gonna seal this up. And I believe it'll be at about 152 degrees for an hour. All right, let's get the first runnings going. Point here is to just get the grain bed nice and clear. Oh, that's a great color. That amber ale, that is such a nice amber color too. I'll tell you what, I do not see anything coming out right now other than clear amber wort. So I am going to let this run, maybe get a quart of it in here, dump it back into the mash tun, and then I will start the sparge. All right, so we are sparging the grain right now. That's pretty hot. It's 170 degree water, and I believe, sorry, a little steam there. Dial it down a bit. You just want to match the input to the flow out. And you notice I put a couple plastic clips on here to hold the hose. It works really good. I struggled for a while trying to figure out a system so that hose wouldn't, flop out of the boil kettle, and this works really good. So this should take about an hour, and then we'll be back for the boil. All right, the sparging is done, and my pre-boil gravity is a 1.042, which is spot on. So next it's the boil. All right, it's just starting to boil, and I just threw in the 2 ounces of Centennial hops. And next will be the chiller in there with 20 minutes left in the 50-minute boil. And then with 5 minutes left, the 1 ounce of Centennial goes in. All right, we are done with the boil. With 5 minutes left, I did throw in the second set of hops, which was 1 ounce of Centennial. And most of you know I use my pool as a chiller. I run the water from the pump through the coil and back into the pool again. Right now that pool water is probably about 50 degrees, so it cools it down pretty fast. It's been colder before and done much faster, but 50 is more than adequate. So I'll be back when it's time to go into the carboys. All right, we're heading into the carboys now. So we are just about done, and it is 8 o'clock, so it's been 5 hours from the start of actually heating the water, getting all the way through the process. So that's not too bad. And the only thing that's really left, and this part I hate, is just cleaning the brew kettle. But you know, it's a 5-10 minute job, and then we're done. So all I have to do here is get these filled up, aerate them, add the yeast, and I am done. Usually I go slower on this, but I don't know what the deal is with this bottle. You almost have to get it wide open to get any out of it, any oxygen out of it. Let's add the US-05 yeast. Just sprinkle it in. I like to give it a little bit of a shake, but believe me, it's gonna get a big shake on the way inside. And that's it, 10 gallons of amber ale. And I'll come back and tell you guys how that turned out, but it's gonna be a while because this is gonna take at least a week in the primary and a couple weeks in the secondary. So, you know, about a month from now, we'll come back, look at it, taste it, see how it turned out. It's been probably, I wanna say it's been 3 years since I made it. At least that's what I think. Well, that's it for the amber. This is Kolsch, and it's 8:40, but you know it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So cheers. I did have biscuits and gravy before this, so makes it okay. I did want to give you a tip. Something that's worked really good for us is that stuff that's left in the wort. You know, there's hops and bunch of other stuff that goes to the bottom of your boil kettle. What I've been doing for the last couple of years is I take that and I dump it out on my oak trees, and I let it soak into the ground. And of course, if you've got a dog, because there's hops in there, you don't want your dog anywhere around. I always lock her up, I lock Eva up, and then I dump it there, and then I follow it up with water to water it in. And I'm telling you, that makes the best sort of fertilizer that you can imagine. That tree used to be the last tree that would bud out in the spring, if you want to call, like, I guess March, spring in Texas. But now it's the first, and then last year Tammy said, you better start dumping that on every tree in the yard. So I've started to kind of cycle through. But might be something you want to consider as opposed to, you know, just dumping it in the trash or wherever you put it. So anyway, that's it. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you again when it's time to taste the amber. Cheers. Good beer. This has been a Matty Boy presentation. Say bye-bye, Matty.